Hello, welcome to Retro Tech Repair and the second of our two-part video series looking at the CGL Galaxy Invader. If you haven't seen the first video in the series, please take a look, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting subscribe. For now, let's pick up where we left off last time and take a look at the two new Galaxy Invaders that we're going to repair today. Let's get started.
That's our first one. That's the first one that I bought that I wasn't able to repair the first time around. So now we're going to take the next one, Galaxy Invader 2. This is the made in Taiwan one. I haven't done any work on this. I bought it only as an example. The only thing I've done is remove it from the plastics so that I can get a little closer to test it. And in fact, I have to disconnect the sounder because the sounder is bonded in, and in this case I disconnected or cut the wires because they were crimp on to the battery terminal. Battery terminal, I think one side is okay. There's a little bit of corrosion on there. I might go in and clean that. One side's missing one of the contacts, but these are interesting in so much as they have a sprung contact at both sides. So this missing spring contact isn't too much of a big deal. Anyhow, let's connect this one up and see how this does. Blue is the negative, red is the positive. And look at that, comes straight up. So this one was working out of the box. So again, we'll dim the lights. Have a little play at this in the slightly dim lighting. It's very clear, and just not quite as bright as the other one. You know, whether that is because this is aged, or whether it's because the other one was recapped, I'm not sure. I could recap this to see if it makes a difference, but it's perfectly clear as it is. If I turn the lights off, the other light off, you should be able to see that. This is good to go. So this should be good also. So now we come to our third Galaxy Invader, and here it is. So I actually didn't even get this one out of the plastics. Well, it was sold as not working, and I haven't actually tried it with batteries. Also, it's got a mismatched battery door and a lot of battery corrosion on the battery terminals. Let me put the lights back on here. There we go. A lot of corrosion on the battery terminals here, and also one missing battery terminal. And that could be why, that missing battery terminal could be why somebody sold it as spares or repair. Because when I hook this up, I'm pretty sure it works. So we take, again, just make sure I'm in the right spot. Positive is this one. In the negative, we'll just go straight onto the battery here. I think the speaker's wired up on this one, so we might get sound effects too. Let's turn it on. When this came to me, this display was quite badly mis-centered, and they don't like being moved because we really don't want to break that vacuum on this VFD here. You probably put a little bit of tape under or something just to hold this back down in place. But let's switch it on. So we have the sound. And I think that actually might be a slightly richer sound than the other one, but I might be mistaken. But there is a significant difference here, and you probably won't see it with those lights on, so I'm going to dim them. Again. And we'll restart. And the difference with this game is, this is two colour. Here we have a red bullet, or a red missile, and a red explosion. Whether the colour one was more money, whether the initial ones were colour and then the later ones were monochrome, quite how it was, I'm not sure. But colour it is. Okay, this one being colour, it deserves to be the very best. I have 3 working Galaxy Invaders now, and a mismatch of components and enclosures. We have our original one here, which was in not great shape, but it has pretty good battery terminals, a very well worn label. This is a Japanese one. There is a little damage to the plastic there, and that came with this enclosure, which is really not in great shape either. So this was the first one. This has the screw damage. Looks like somebody's tried to open that up, and some damage to the label actually that I didn't point out the first time around. This is the next one that comes along. This is quite yellowed. It seems intact, but feels like it's made out of a cheaper plastic. It's very yellowed, and that's there. And then the final one, which I think is the best one, is not as yellowed as the other one and doesn't have the damage that the first one had. So this is the best one. So I think I want the colour one to be the best one. In fact, this was original to the colour one anyway. So the only thing we need to do to make this close to perfect is to improve these battery contacts here. So this one is going to give up its battery contact to keep the colour one as pristine as we can make it. And the parts that it's going to give up actually are from the lower enclosure here. And we're going to take one of these double batteries from. In fact, I don't even need my soldering iron. Look, I think this will just, if I take this one, it'll just slide out. There it is. Great. A little bit of surface corrosion on it. We'll soon get that cleaned up. This is a car colour restorer. I use this quite a lot in my videos, and surprisingly, it also does quite a nice job of cleaning metal. I think it might even suggest that on the back. It says it's got hundreds of uses, including metal polish, so it doesn't show a picture of it, but it does show it on the back, and in fact, it does generally do quite a nice job. That's quite a nice clean battery contact. So that's one. Maybe we'll do the same to the existing ones in here, since those aren't too bad, so I can get to those. These are the ones that are coming out. So just this side really are a bit crusty. One of them is damaged. Here's our damaged one. We'll just a reject for now. Here's our other crusty one. I'll zoom in on that and clean this crusty coating off as best we were able. They're not perfect, but they look a little bit better than they did. Oh, well, that's not great, is it? I had a fear that if I did that, I'd break another, and that's exactly what I did. And now we have 2 broken ones. So we'll probably have to steal some from somewhere else. The other one might be able to yield one. And maybe that was the right thing to do all along. If we want this to be as good as it can be, then maybe the right thing to do would have been to take best pieces all along. So, you know, sometimes things happen for a reason. I'm not thrilled that that broke, but now we have a nice new one, which is going to be in better shape than the first. Alright, so we'll slide these back in. Hopefully I won't mess it up this time. Yeah, that's the first one. And the second one. And I think that is a pretty clean battery compartment for a 30-year-old game. So I'm going to take a little bit of double-sided tape. I'm just going to slide that behind there, because it looks like there was some adhesive in there holding that in place. And now that's gone. So just put a little bit of double-sided tape behind that just to hold that in place. Okay, hopefully that's it. So we'll give the display a quick polish off, get my fingerprints off it. I'll go in and get the nooks and crannies.
So unfortunately, shortly after filming the segment that we're watching right now, I looked up at my camera and discovered that the memory card had filled up. Consequently, I don't have the video footage of us finishing assembly of the first of our Galaxy Invaders. So let's recap where we had got to.
Okay, so I guess we missed a lot of that filming. I don't know what we got and what we didn't, but this now is our finished Galaxy Invader. I had cleaned the enclosure here with a Windex window cleaner. I polished up this central area with a car polish. I then cleaned the whole thing with a furniture polish, like a multi-surface polish. And we tried it with some batteries, it seemed to work. Of course, we have our nice, clean battery contacts now.
At this point in the filming, I just started to waffle on a bit, so let's take a quick look at the gameplay of our Color Invader, which you can now see clearly that we have the filter in place over the screen, and then after that, let's move on to the next one.
Okay, so we've had a little bit of a tidy up, and there's a couple of things that I need to deal with. The first are these battery contacts here, that one of which was already broken, I think, the other which broke as I took it out. Now obviously I can't use this portion of it. I think any attempt to kind of fasten those back together would be futile, and I could replace it with something. I had an example somewhere. I could replace them with something like this. I'd probably need to trim it down a little bit. And these obviously can't be used as a linked contact, but I'm wondering whether if I could get these clean enough to use, I could use these two intact pieces individually. I tried cleaning them up with metal cleaner, I've tried cleaning them up with a fiberglass pencil. Obviously they're in a bit of a mess, so what I'm going to try now, and the purist among you will hate me for this I'm sure, is I'm going to drop them in a little white vinegar, and I'm going to let them sit and see if that white vinegar can get rid of some of this alkali corrosion from the batteries. So we're going to pop those in there and just see how they fizz straight away. So we'll take a quick look at our battery contacts here. They've probably been soaking for about 15 minutes now. And it looks like on one of them at least all the corrosion has gone now. We've exposed the copper, like I say. Not necessarily a good thing, but I think that's probably better than just having the corrosion on there and not being able to reuse these battery tabs. Okay, so here are our two broken but cleaned and largely corrosion free now battery terminals. Have our Galaxy Invader back here. I'm going to try and take the remaining battery terminals out. Now I think this one may already have fractured, so as we take it out we're probably going to learn whether that's the case. And in fact it's fragile but currently intact. Let's see if it will survive a cleaning. Since we're going through that process, we may as well clean up the other battery tabs too. Okay, well clearly we can't use this half, so I'm going to snip that off. Some of this may be required to engage it. That now finally is rubbish. Same here. So we'll just slide a couple in there. So then we have remaining two good ones at this side. As we do this, you still might hear a little noise from outside at the front of the building. So now we're missing two, just these two here, the two that are missing. And we're going to have to replace those with a modern item. So they're going to be a little wide to go in here though. They will fit that way, so it's a case of just trimming down both sides here. There we go. That doesn't look too bad. What we need to do now is we need to put some solder links on here, because these obviously had like one piece units before and now they've got these two pieces. I'm going to solder up the sounder back onto the PCA. We're going to tidy up some of the wiring on here, get this cleaned off, and then we're going to assemble it and we're going to see how it plays. That's good enough. Oh, actually I didn't need to do that, look, because this one is a double piece anyway. Silly me. Never mind, it's on. I'm not going to remove it. These were the only two that I needed to link. This kind of thing happens. We make mistakes, but I think we're going to be okay. So now I need to get this soldered back into here. So let's pop some batteries in and see if it's working. There'll be no sound, but great, the game is playing great. Okay, we'll continue now and wire up the speaker. Now I have sound. That seems to be working nicely now, so we'll get some screws in here and we'll get it back together. So there we have it. Let's clear everything out of the way. Our next newly restored monochrome Galaxy Invader. Well, the next thing that I need to tackle is this battery door. So this battery door is from a different game. This is the colour of the original. And I went out to the model shop and I bought some plastic paint. And as you can see, the plastic paint that I got is actually a remarkably good match. I think a remarkably good match to the original colour of our Galaxy Invader. Again, the purists among us are going to be upset about this. They won't want to see me paint this to be a brown cover, but this happens to be what I have. It's not economical. This was perhaps £6. I think I paid £12 for the game, so you kind of get an idea of what I'm spending here. But I thought it'd be interesting just to see how that worked out. And again, you know, if you're unhappy about it, please post in the comments section, and I'll be happy to kind of take that feedback. But that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do with this one first then is I'm going to get this cleaned up before we go ahead and paint it. And we'll give that another minute to dry, and then we're going to go outside and paint it. Now I'm not going to film the painting. It's not that I don't want to film the painting so much as I don't have a lot of room outside. I'm going to look very strange as it is and attract some attention from the local hotels here on the seafront. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop outside, and rather than set the camera up, I'm going to paint it. Hopefully this is going to work out okay, but we'll see, it might not. So the next thing I'm going to take a look at is this plastic enclosure here, and you can see how somebody has tried to put a screwdriver into these plastic features here as if they were real screws. They're just a design feature. I'm going to maybe try and mill them out a little bit so they can look a bit more like a rivet or something like that, at least make them tidy. And to do that I'm going to use a multi-tool, and I have on here just a little mill kind of bit. I'm just going to try and tidy up, and then maybe we'll come in and sand those out in a second stage. First of all, I'm just going to get rid of the rough edges on here. Well, that was pretty aggressive even on its lowest speed, so I think what we're going to try and do now is come in with a sander piece. It's a kind of, you see that this piece is more of a abrasive. Well, they look better. They're not great, but they definitely look better. I wonder if there's something I can come in just to finish those off by hand now. I think that might be as much as we can do with these now. So altogether, not perfect, but I hope that you can see now that is much nicer than it was before. And even our little rivet holes or screw holes are much neater now. So, you know, it wasn't perfect. It's not perfect now, but it's better than it was. So here is now the last of our Galaxy Invaders. This poor chap is the one that was made in Taiwan originally, that had the damaged screw bosses on the, or fake screw bosses on the front here, and unfortunately in its battery tabs we have one missing battery tab here, and I don't have anything that matches that. So what I'm going to do, I think, is we're going to just replace some of these battery connectors. I have here some battery connectors. Now I don't have any more of the kind of spring clips, but I do have these with a with an actual spring rather than a clip, and I think these are going to fit more or less straight in. So we're going to go ahead and slide these old ones out. We'll start with the broken one, then we don't do any damage. And they have a little clip in there that I need to engage, so I'm going to engage that, and then I'm going to take another screwdriver and push the connector out with that other. There we go. This has broken. Now, it does still work actually, and I thought about maybe sliding a spring in behind it. Something like that. That might be an option, just to maintain some kind of originality. I think the easiest thing to do is just to swap these out. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to slide this in where the other one was. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to more or less fit straight in. Great. Actually, I'm pretty pleased with that. I think those battery contacts actually look nice. I like I say, I kind of wish I'd done the other one that way. I know it would be non-original, yeah, but it's non-original as it is, and actually I really like that result. Excellent. See if it works. Okay, so all we need to do now is put this back together. You might remember this one got the short end of the stick, in so much as it got the re-engineered front cover, and it has a blue battery cover. So we'll take a look at the blue battery cover in just a minute. In the meantime, let's get some screws in here and get this back together. Promising noises. Yes. Dim the lights. Zoom in and we can play a little bit of our Galaxy Invader. Now you might remember that we had a blue battery cover on this, and we took the bold step of painting it. And here it is. It doesn't quite match, but the finish on it is really nice. Actually, the finish on it is great. The color match though isn't quite right, but it's not terrible. It looks better in person than it does on the camera, and you know, it still feels like a nice thing in your hand, our Galaxy Invader. So here we have our 3 Galaxy Invaders, now working just as they should. It's been an interesting journey. We've replaced some battery contacts, we've replaced some capacitors, and in fact, the one that we replaced the capacitors in now has a super bright display, and it might be interesting on a different time to recap the others as well and see if they were to get a bright display also. But what we've done is we've taken something that would have gone into the trash or the garbage or to the tip, and we've taken it and we've made something that somebody can have in their home and enjoy. This was the very start of Retro Tech Repair, and it's great to have restored these, and really exciting to have discovered amongst these broken Galaxy Invaders that we bought that one of them has the colour display, and I understand the colour display is very rare. And as I waffle on, that just about wraps it up for our Galaxy Invaders today. I hope that you've enjoyed the video, and that if you did, you will hit subscribe. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching Retro Tech Repair. Hi, that's what's inside here. That could be a problem. Just the joystick works as it should. Great. I don't know if that's skill level or number of live around. I have it in a couple of places and then it stops. Grandstand scramble. Wonderful. Looking forward to fixing that.